timer, and we'll get underway. And here we go! So this is Dragon Warrior Randomizer. Most of you are familiar with it by now. For those of you who aren't, many things are randomized. The town's locations on the world map, the contents of treasure chest, enemy spells. Players are underway here with gold and a cursed belt, and the spell of outside, which will not help you conserve a key. But the players do start with Hurt More, so this is bound to be a fast seed. Everyone's heading straight outside to do quick battle. And you're going to see a lot of very quick levels happening here. Zarnax and JJ Schmidt both getting an early Poltergeist, propelling them both to level 2, and they're both 2 experience away from level 3. It looks like HighSpirits also got a Poltergeist, and the Seawolf is also at level 2. I didn't see which enemy he beat, but it was probably a Magidrakey based on his experience. And JJ Schmidt already reaching level 3. Zarnax is trying for a Star Wyvern, but unfortunately it heal-moored, and I believe it is now out of range of being killed by 1 Hurt More, so he's not going to be able to beat this one. And he realized it, he tried to run away. Gonna see a lot of very fast levels here. Here's HighSpirits Hurt-mooring a wolf to reach level 3. And in fact, level 3 is not all he's going to get. He goes up straight up to level 4 with that one. Zarnax has found the mountain cave, and there's nothing wrong with going in right now. He could very easily find a lot of other good enemies to hurt more on the way. It looks like he's made his sprite invisible, which is interesting. You saw he tried to take the treasure chest, but he wasn't on the right square. Very recently, it's been discovered that we could replace the old sprite for the hero with, well, basically anything. And Zarnax has made his sprite invisible, and might make things a little difficult for him every once in a while. And JJ Schmidt has found Gorinham. They do sell a silver shield here, that's good to know for later. By the way, for those of you in the chat, let me know if you can hear everything okay. I've got music going on in the background. If it's too quiet or anything, just let me know. Seawolf also entering the mountain cave, as well as HighSpirits. It's interesting watching 4 people at once. Pretty hard to follow them all. There are now 3 players at level 5, and Zarnax will undoubtedly be there shortly. There's plenty of MP for Hurt More rather. Very unlikely they'll run out. So yeah, Zarnax is at level 4, and literally the next Hurt More he gets. Well, actually, I think he forgot he had Hurt More. He just attacked that Scorpion. The Scorpion itself actually isn't enough, but very soon he's going to find something that'll propel him to level 5. This is an SRL race, and there are more than just these 4 players playing at the moment. Zarnax back in the mountain cave. Let's just check how many players there are here. Okay, we've got 5 players. Yunos is also in this race. So yeah, in terms of sprites, we've got Taloon. We've got the 2 people are using the normal hero sprite, and Zarnax has the invisible sprite as he descends back into the mountain cave and tries to pick up those treasure chests. We know there's a silver shield in Gerinham, that's where JJ Schmidt is right now, but of course nobody will be able to afford one for a while. It looks like they have also learned Heal more. So yeah, this should be an easy seed, and it looks like there's no danger of this race running overtime. We have a time limit of about an hour and 3/4 for this one, so that we can prepare for the finals, which are coming up in a little under 2 hours. I didn't ask, but I don't think they took a look at the seed beforehand. I think it's just a random selection. So yeah, in Randomizer, a lot of the times you'll see everything become a lot harder because of circumstances. Sometimes the opening castle can be entirely surrounded by swamp. Sometimes all the enemies around the castle are unfightable for one reason or another. Maybe they'll have Hurt More, Dragonlord Breath. Maybe you'll just be too weak to do damage to them, and, you know, there are no slimes or anything like that. But in this case, all players are starting with Hurt More, and there are plenty of good enemies around to hurt more, so everyone is just propelling up the level chain. You see JJ Schmidt already reaching level 7 after hurt mooring that Magiwyvern. And everyone's really close together. You know, there are a couple gaps of 100 or 200 experience, but with Hurtmore you can already defeat enemies that give that much experience. You see HighSpirits defeating an Axe Knight for 130 experience. Axe Knights can be taken down with a single Hurtmore, most of the time. So nobody is really behind right now. Everyone is off to a smooth start, and that is for the most part to be expected on a Hurtmore seed. Yeah, Mr. Holmes is correct. In general, when you have a large advantage in ease of play, such as Hurtmore, which is generally the largest ease of play advantage, you do want to explore as much as you can, mainly because it becomes much more likely that you're going to be able to survive for longer distances, and you want to make use of those distances to explore as much as you can, and also you're going to be propelled up the level chain much, much faster. So you want to find all the key items by the time you're actually strong enough to beat the Dragonlord. So exploration becomes much more important to explore quickly when you have an advantage like Hurtmore. And that's a common theme across all races, whether you start with Hurtmore or you learn it sometime around level 5. As soon as everyone gets it, they suddenly go into hardcore exploration mode. Haha, 123 damage to a Stone Man and still didn't defeat it. I believe Hurtmore's success rate on a Stone Man is 9 out of 16, meaning it'll work just over half the time. But yeah, every once in a while, even 2 Hurtmores will not be enough to defeat a Stone Man, so they can be a little bit dangerous to beat on Hurtmore alone. Zarnax reaching level 7. It looks like everyone's at level 7 except HighSpirits has already reached level 8. And he too is in Gerinham. It looks like everyone has visited Gerinham, and I don't think I've seen anyone else enter any other town. We've also seen the Mountain Cave from pretty much every player, I believe. So Hurtmore is going to make them very strong very quickly, and they're going to want to keep exploring as quickly as possible, finding new towns, new key items, new caves. HighSpirits picking up a Dragon Scale for an extra 2 defense. And the level train continues. So I believe all players have Erdrick's token now from the cave, the mountain cave, and the Stones of Sunlight as well, as JJ Schmidt just picked those up. You can see the Seawolf running into a dead end of swamp. Not an issue for him right now because everybody has heal more. There does seem to be a lot of swamp in his area. HighSpirits has reached the same area. The invisible sprite heads towards a new town on Zarnax's screen. Again, HighSpirits still with the experience lead, but it is very insignificant when everyone has hurt more. JJ Schmidt just now reaching level 8 himself. Look at this, a wolf, a wolf lord, and a werewolf all at the same time. Everyone having no trouble finding decent enemies to hurt more. Every once in a while you come into a seed where you have early hurt more, but you still can't use it very much because there's nothing but red dragons, blue dragons, wizards, demon knights, stone men, golems, and metal slimes. Things that just can't be reliably hurt moored. And so things can be difficult in a situation like that. But right now, everyone is finding nothing but, almost nothing, but great enemies to use hurt more on. So everything's smooth. The Seawolf now reaching level 8 as well. And he's found Hawksness, and I missed it, but according to Mr. Holmes, he also got a key from that cave. And so right away you can see the advantages of exploration. If he's the first to find keys, he can be the first one to do a number of things with those keys. He can check the treasure chest in locations like the home castle of Tantagel, and if he gets something important like Erdrick's sword there, that could give him a large advantage. Of course, in a seed like this, where they have hurt more, it's unlikely that Erdrick's sword... it's unlikely that it'll matter at... when people get Erdrick's sword, as long as it's, you know, readily available to everyone. HighSpirits getting the magic key as well from the Stones of Sunlight cave. This is going to be really fun to watch throughout, especially as the players develop towards the end game. We might see a very, very close result at the end. The Seawolf going through the Swamp Cave and finding Brecconary in the process. Brecconary is typically the least useful town. There's nothing behind a locked door, no treasure chests, no access to caves. But in this case, they do sell magic armor and silver shield there. Magic armor will probably not be purchased by anyone in this particular seed, but the silver shield they will probably all purchase later on. Of course, in this instance, everyone has already found the silver shield in Garinham, and that happens sometimes. Some seeds will not have a silver shield available at all, just by randomness, as the items sold in shops, in weapons and armor shops, are random. In this seed, however, there are at least 2 silver shields, 2 locations where they can be purchased. So I think it's very likely that everyone will get it. Usually, the gold glitch that allows everyone to get a large amount of gold in a short period of time is possible by there being a large gold chest in the Tantagel treasury. So for now, I'm just assuming that that will happen. It's not a guarantee, but we'll see. JJ Schmidt fighting a Star Wyvern. We know they have Heal More. It is possible to take them down before they use Heal More because they don't always start with max HP. But there we go. It used a Heal More, and as I was already discussing earlier, once it's Heal More, it's going to be a max HP, and you cannot bring it down with 1 hurt more, and it's very likely that it will use Heal More once it's been damaged. So Star Wyverns are not the most viable option, but as the characters get stronger, what they can do is attack the Star Wyvern once and then use hurt more. JJ Schmidt picking up a magic key from the Stones of Sunlight Shrine. And it looks like Zarnax is doing some in-cave... Oh no, he's just suiciding out. So he may be preparing to do the gold glitch. I didn't see if he got a key or not, but that might be what's about to happen. Yeah, Erdrick's token and the Stones of Sunlight were in the mountain cave, so I think everybody has them now. So HighSpirits making use of his keys already. He's in the back door of Garinham picking up some chests, and he can check out the cave there as well. JJ Schmidt using his key to check out the cave in Tentagel and the treasury. Lots of options open up very quickly when you have keys. And there, already we see on JJ Schmidt's screen, 2 big gold chests, 3 big gold chests, and the silver harp. So all players can definitely grind for the silver shield. Whether or not they do depends basically on whether or not they get an extreme amount of agility out of this seed. If they don't, then they will probably get it, but if they get an inordinately large quantity of agility, which doesn't happen too often, they might just skip over it, because it's not entirely necessary, but it would take a relatively high amount that doesn't happen too often. With the option so readily accessible to everyone, it's fairly likely that they will just take it. It doesn't take too long to grind for Silver Shield Gold, thanks to those very large chests. Have to open less than 30 chests on average, and the gold glitch makes it pretty easy. And the Seawolf is already doing it. He's already going for that Silver Shield money. We'll see if he goes for anything else as well, but as I've already discussed, it's not really necessary to go for a weapon when all players are more than likely going to be going for Erdrick's sword towards the end, and they may find it in exploration before Sharlock if it's not in there. And in terms of armor, all players have to pick up Erdrick's armor before finishing the game. It's not 100% required, but for a race, it is definitely a requirement if you want to try and win the race. I like what I've seen from this map so far. HighSpirits has found coal. He's searching the location that has the fairy flute, and it does indeed contain the fairy flute. In Dragon Warrior Randomizer, those 3 searchable locations, one of which is in Coal, one in Hawksness, and one on the world map, contain one of 3 items, which are Erdrick's armor, Erdrick's token, and the fairy flute. Sometimes Erdrick's token is in a random chest instead of in one of those 3 chests. Or 3 locations, rather. But for Erdrick's armor, the players want to be able to search all 3 locations. In order to search the location on the map, it is a random tile on the map, and the players must get coordinates relative to the home castle by talking to a man in Cantlin. I don't think anyone has found Cantlin yet, but when they do, they'll get those coordinates. HighSpirits has found the Death Necklace in this latest version of Randomizer. The Death Necklace, when put on, it's a one-time use. It'll give you 10 attack power at the cost of 1/4 of your max HP. So typically, barring extreme circumstances like some sort of difficult situation at the beginning of the game, you typically only want to use the Death Necklace right before fighting the Dragon Lord, mainly so that you can keep your hit points until then. So yeah, because we have 4 players and Hurtmore happens so early, everyone is finding a lot of things very quickly. I see from JJ Schmidt's screen that the Fighter's Ring was also in Garinham. So I've already seen everything except for Erdrick's sword and armor from all the players. JJ Schmidt is now picking up the Staff of Rain. We know where the Harp Stones and Token are. The Harp was in Tantagel, and the Stones and Token were in the Mountain Cave. And I saw Zarnax venture into the Jerk Cave where you get the Rainbow Drop. So pretty much everything except the sword and armor has been discovered. And with Hurtmore for quick leveling, everything is going to proceed very quickly. So at the moment, everyone is at level 9 or 10, still very close together across the board. Such peaceful music. Amazingly, JJ Schmidt is already using the Rainbow Drop. He's not going into Sharlock yet, but he has access. The pace is so quick. The idea that someone has access to Sharlock, only 22 minutes in the game, with Healmore and Hurtmore. That's another thing, by the way. You do need Healmore to beat the Dragon Lord. He does a lot of damage that is not preventable. So unless you were to level up to level 30 and have a very ridiculously high quantity of HP, you need Healmore to survive the final battle. JJ Schmidt going into the Tablet Cave and also finding the Death Necklace. So the Death Necklace is very useful for the final battle, gives you a better chance of winning, but you have to have a certain amount of HP in order to make it worthwhile. Basically, as a good guideline, if you have less than 130 HP, there are going to be times where the Dragon Lord does enough damage to you that you're not going to be able to attack before you use a Healmore. So the less HP you have, the more dangerous it becomes. But if you have above 130 HP, almost 100% of the time, all players are going to use the Death Necklace before fighting the Dragon Lord, so that they need less attacks, and therefore less Healmores, to beat the Dragon Lord. HighSpirits is the first player to reach level 11. It's difficult to track exactly where everyone is in terms of what they've found. I don't think I've seen anyone pick up Erdrick's sword. There's a chance it might be in Sharlock. I don't think I've seen anyone in Garen's grave either, so it might be in there. Oh, actually, it looks like the Seawolf is in Garen's grave right now. I'm not sure why he's not moving, though. There he goes. Seawolf is a little bit low on MP. He only has enough for 2 more Hurtmores. So this cave could be a little bit dangerous for him, but there's Erdrick's sword, and that's the answer to the question. So everyone will have everything before they actually go in. Look at what's happening to Zarnax's sprite. I guess at some angles, walking in certain places, half of its sprite will reveal itself. That's pretty funny. Zarnax casting outside to get through the swamp cave more quickly. Discovering Breckenary on the other side. JJ Schmidt roaming the bottom of the map. He is probably trying to find Garen's grave, which is definitely the right move. It does have Erdrick's sword. I had a race recently in the tournament, actually, a few weeks ago, where the sword ended up being in Sharlock, and there was no good place to grind. I believe I was playing against Mr. Holmes. There was a tough enemy in Hawksness, and really no good place to grind. So what Mr. Holmes did was he skipped Garen's grave and went straight in to Sharlock, and the sword happened to be there, so it worked out really well. But he was able to find better grind enemies on the way down to Sharlock. That was the main theme of the idea. So he was able to grind on those enemies, and he happened to pick up the sword. What I'm trying to get at is there are circumstances where you might not want to look around the world map. In this case, however, everyone definitely wants to find Garen's grave for that sword. Zarnax the Half-Man. Yeah, it's an interesting experiment. Zarnax did a lot of trial work on sprites. And I assume his intention was to have an invisible sprite here, but every once in a while, half the sprite crops up on screen. Half the world for the half-man. Yes, if he says yes to the Dragon Lord, he is offered half the world. It's kind of unclear, like, it's a weird ending. The implication seems to be that the Dragon Lord tricks you, but the dialogue doesn't explicitly say that you don't actually get half of the world. I mean, the screen turns red and the game freezes, but other than that, perhaps the Dragon Lord was true to his word. And it's kind of like a descent into hell, like the screen turning red could be just, you know, you turning evil and ruling half the world with him. It's not 100% clear. Sometimes that happens with old games that are translated from another language. So yeah, not even half an hour into this race and everything has been found by one player or another. Except I'm not 100% sure about Erdrick's armor. But we see Zarnax getting the coordinates for what I believe has to be Erdrick's armor, because I think nothing was in Hawksness and the Fairy Flute was in Cole. So Zarnax is healing up before he gets those coordinates. Unless he already did and I missed it. That's possible. Going to buy some herbs now. JJ Schmidt checking out Hawksness. Oh, does Zarnax not have keys? That would be a problem. The other players got keys so long ago, I just expected him to have them. If he hasn't found the Stones of Sunlight Shrine, then he's going to be in big trouble in this race. This is one case where you see that that's really a deciding factor. But no, he's going in. He must have keys. Yeah, he has keys. No problem. He was just healing up and getting his herbs. JJ Schmidt reaching level 11. He's the second player to do so. And still, despite very diverging paths, all players are within one level of each other. Seawolf checking the cave in Tantagel. He probably already knew it was the Swamp Cave. Without looking, he cast outside. It looks to be a gateway for him to get position on the map. Zarnax, picking up the treasure chests behind Gorinham, now has the Fighter's Ring. Fighter's Ring gives a small boost to your attack power. It's certainly not a necessary, required item. Very often, these splits will randomly, when you get the required level ups, most of the seeds will transport you from not being able to beat the Dragon Lord to having a very clear chance of victory. And because of that, it's very uncommon that the Fighter's Ring makes a big difference, but it will always improve your odds of victory. So if you have something like a 60 or 70% chance of beating the Dragon Lord, the Fighter's Ring will give you a large, large boost to that percentage. So if it's possible to pick it up, if for example you've taken every treasure chest on the map and you've got all your key items and you get down into Sharlock and you're really close in terms of odds against the Dragon Lord, you're going to want to check the treasury in the basement to see if you can pick up the Fighter's Ring to give yourself a little bit extra percentage edge. In general, if you have the Fighter's Ring and you're fighting the Dragon Lord, you will do 1 more damage per attack on average. So if your strength is relatively low, the Fighter's Ring makes a much larger difference because you're going to be doing many more attacks against the Dragon Lord over the course of the battle. So if you have to hit him like 14 times or so, being able to do 14 extra damage within the scope of those attacks makes a large difference. Zarnax revealing half his sprite as he takes damage walking through the swamp. I think it only happens when the sprite is walking down. That is Taloon on HighSpirits' screen. That's his sprite of choice. Zarnax, the 3rd player to reach level 11. Seawolf is very close. On his next battle after this werewolf, he will reach the next level, but HighSpirits has already reached level 12. He has a slight lead in experience. Again, I don't know if he has everything. I'm not sure about Erdrick's armor. But we shall see. And HighSpirits is in Cantlin, so if he hasn't been here before, he will have the coordinates now. I'm not sure if Zarnax has run a race before where he had an invisible sprite. This might be the first time where he's ever done this. So presumably it was just a cool choice for this 4-player exhibition race. Again, it's been hard to keep up with everything that's been going on with all 4 players, but for those of you who are new to Dragon Warrior Randomizer, the meat of it is that the entire world map is randomized. Where you encounter enemies is randomized. You get a random starting component of spells, which can be no spells at all. Random HP, MP, random stat growth from each level. And most importantly, the contents of treasure chests are also randomized. So you don't know where you're going to find all your key items. Although the layouts of towns and caves are still the same, so you know where the treasure chests are, you just don't know what they're going to have. Coordinates are 6 south, 64 west, not too bad. So basically, it's easy to see 6 steps south from the castle, and then if there's no water or other terrain in the way, they can just go 64 squares west, they can count it out. It shouldn't be too hard on an open map. If the map is windy, sometimes it's difficult for some players to navigate, and they might go rescue the princess so that they can get what is essentially a coordinate compass to guide them. Zarnak's picking up the rainbow drop now. It looks like he's suiciding on purpose in the swamp. Yeah, he was out of MP, so he didn't have a way to get back immediately. Death warping is a very common practice. Zarnax does have Erdrick's sword. And you already see HighSpirits is rescuing the princess, so I'm assuming it wasn't an easy straight line walk to the west. Oh, what happened to Schmidt? Oh, is he back? I will take a look. There he is. So yeah, if the map is windy, especially on this map, you can't blame a player for rescuing the princess to get the compass that will help you find out where that armor is. Especially here where the swamp cave was in Tentagel, so the princess wasn't far away at all. I'm gonna keep trying to get JJ Schmidt back, hopefully his internet is okay. There we go. It looks like things are going very well for HighSpirits. He's maintained an experience lead throughout this race. Although JJ Schmidt is nearly equal to him now. But HighSpirits is on the way to that armor. So he'll use the compass now, and we'll see how close he is. Oh, it's much further west. So you see there's a body of water in the way that you have to wind your way around. So presumably HighSpirits knew about that and decided it would be easier and possibly quicker just to get Gwaylin's Love, which is the compass guide, rather than try counting the steps as you wind around. JJ Schmidt now has the coordinates. So we're starting to reach a point where you could start ranking the players in terms of their leads. As I say, early on, when everyone was exploring, everyone had hurt more and was gaining levels so rapidly, it was literally impossible to rank them. But right now, we could probably say that HighSpirits is in the lead, and JJ Schmidt is a close second. It's all about getting that armor now. Yeah, so in Dragon Warrior, the green dragon that guards the princess, I believe it's the only... Oh no, the green dragon and also the golem that guards Cantlin. They are both enemies that disappear forever once you defeat them once. But it's true, in Dragon Quest, there is a way to respawn the dragon by not bringing the princess back after you defeat the dragon. Yeah, all players are now within 523 experience of each other. It is pretty amazing. And we see Zarnax also choosing to rescue the princess rather than count that windy walk. And now that the Seawolf has reached level 12, everyone is at level 12. A remarkably close race. To say that HighSpirits is in the lead, it doesn't mean very much right now. In fact, JJ Schmidt has already taken an experience lead. Things are very, very close together right now. This is pretty much anyone's race. Yes, the fairy flute was in coal. Those of you who have viewed these races before, especially when there are more than 2 people, you already know that the most hype thing is when a race is really close, especially between the leaders. It's always thrilling to watch when people diverge on paths, and then as their paths converge, you start noticing that they're really close together, and you know the ending's going to be close, and it becomes unclear who's going to beat the Dragon Lord first. Last year, we had a number of races that where the leaders finished within seconds of each other. We had 2 races that come to my mind immediately, where the winner was 1 second ahead of the next player, and there was one race where we had 2 players tie. And the way Speedruns Live works is when 2 players are within 1 second of each other, it will be counted as a tie if they finish on the same second. So we did get to see that happen 1 single time. It's probably much more common on shorter games, especially, like, for example, a game like Super Mario Brothers, which gets a lot. It's a very popular game. It's probably been raced a lot, and it's a very short game. So there have probably been a lot of ties in that game. We see HighSpirits picking up the rainbow drop now, and JJ Schmidt also deciding to save the princess. And look at Zarnax carrying the princess with his invisible sprite. She's just floating, she's levitating. That's fantastic. Talon uses the rainbow drop. And HighSpirits just might be the first player to go into Sharlock. It looks like he's trying to grind here. That would be hilarious if it happened, Mr. Holmes. It looks like when Zarnax walks up, his quote invisible sprite covers the princess entirely, and so she basically just disappears. We're getting into level 13 territory now. I haven't taken a close look at anyone's stats yet, so I don't know how far people are from fighting the Dragon Lord. But basically, what determines when you can fight the Dragon Lord is a combination of your strength, your HP, your MP for how many heal mores you can use, and in some cases, the amount of agility you have can play a factor as well. Basically, it usually depends on what kind of random enemies are in Sharlock. If you have low agility and there are enemies that you can't fight that have ridiculously strong spells, there might arise some circumstances where you are strong enough to beat the Dragon Lord, but you need to fight for more agility to give you a realistic chance of getting through Sharlock. But yeah, in general, you need at least 97 HP. If you get a large amount of HP more than 97, that can generally help you, because sometimes you'll be able to hit the Dragon Lord twice before you have to use heal more. And other than that, it's mostly a calculation of the ratio between your MP and your attack power in terms of how much damage you can do the Dragon Lord per attack on average versus how many heal mores you have, which basically determines how many attacks you get to deal before the Dragon Lord defeats you. The Sea Wolf has found the coordinates. And Zarnax is still walking around with the princess. It is possible that he's decided to finish the rest of the game with the sprite like that. So yeah, the next time someone gets a level up, I will take a look at their stats. If they're getting close, they will probably check their stats to determine how close they are, and I'll try and give a determination of how much more they need to fight the Dragon Lord, or if they're strong enough, how likely their chances are. In terms of who is ahead, I believe HighSpirits and JJ Schmidt have the most experience. HighSpirits has a little over 500 experience lead right now over JJ. And I believe all players have found everything except for Erdrick's armor. At least 3 players have found the coordinates. I haven't seen anyone pick it up specifically, but I believe at least 2 of them have. And you can see JJ Schmidt using Gwaelin's Love to determine how close he is. It looks like he needs to get above this body of water. He has to walk west to get around it, so he'll go west-northeast if he can. It makes sense that HighSpirits already has it, because he did get the coordinates, he was walking towards it, and now he's grinding in Charlock. All 4 players using a Strength HP build this time. HighSpirits has a different name, but it is a name that gives the exact same stat growth. There are only 16 different possible paths for stat growth, and they are all determined by the first 4 characters of your name. So if you want to take a 1-character name, which you always do in a speedrun because it actually takes time to print out characters on the screen every time your name is printed, if you want a 1-character name, there are 4 names that will give you this stat growth. So the Sea Wolf has also chosen to rescue the princess to get the armor. And we see Zarnax is very, very close to the coordinates now. He must have returned the princess. You can see his sprite is invisible again. He's looking for 6 and 64. He's got 10 and 64, so he needs to go 4 squares north, and then he'll be able to pick up the armor. There it is. So everyone is all set to just grind from this point, I believe. HighSpirits' experience lead over JJ has grown. He is already at level 14. So I think from this point, it's most likely that HighSpirits will win this race. He has everything and an experience lead. It all depends on how efficient his grinding is. I'm not really sure about grinding in Sharlock, because the encounter rate on the tiles is a little bit slower. Only a 1 in 16 chance of encountering an enemy per step on the brick tile set. But you never know, we'll see. But yeah, it looks like because this was such an easy seed with early Hurtmore and everything, it looks like there's no danger of the race running overtime. So we'll be on schedule for the grand finals an hour from now between Game Boy and Mr. Holmes. We started with a 32-person double elimination tournament in the summer, and gradually reduced our way down to the final 2 players. And it should be no... Oh, wow! JJ Schmidt did not have Erdrick's sword yet. He just picked it up now. Should be noted that Game Boy is the only player who has not lost a match in the tournament yet. Mr. Holmes did lose 1 match. But what this means is if Mr. Holmes wins the race coming up in 1 hour, there will be a second race, which will be the tiebreaker. Both players will have 1 loss. And in a double elimination tournament, we have to play down until there is only 1 left. HighSpirits' experience lead continues to grow, so we can't really fault his choice to grind in Sharlock. It seems to be working out well for him. No, they're all against each other. It's not a heads-up race. This is an exhibition race before the grand finals. They're all in the same race, all competing against each other. Unos is also in this race, but we didn't have room to put a 5th person on, and we didn't know if there was going to be a 5th person in the race. We see Zarnax in Sharlock as well. Perhaps he came to the same conclusion as HighSpirits, that it would be faster to grind in Sharlock. Zarnax is going downstairs. Could it be that he doesn't have the sword and he's checking if it's in here, or perhaps he's looking for a better set of enemies on the lower floors? Maybe even trying to grind against the mini-boss before the Dragon Lord, which is a permanent encounter you can fight over and over. It's unfortunate that I couldn't track all 4 players super closely. It's surprisingly difficult to watch all 4 of them and track all their progress, but we are coming gradually towards the end of the race. The Seawolf now has the rainbow drop for access to Sharlock. And HighSpirits has reached level 15. Zarnax will get level 14 with this battle against the Axe Knight. The Seawolf is back at level 12. He is just entering Charlock for the first time now. It's looking like HighSpirits' lead will carry him to victory, but it all depends on what happens in Charlock and how quick level growth is. Right now he has a good amount of HP and 12 heal mores. I think he's going after the Dragon Lord. Unfortunately, I didn't see what his stats looked like, but I'm assuming it's a fairly obvious choice for him at this point. If he has 12 heal mores and an abundance of HP, it's very likely that his strength is in the high 120s or above, and he feels very comfortable going after the Dragon Lord at this point. There will be no Death Necklace usage at all, though, because the player's HP just happens to not be high enough to warrant that decision. If your HP is too low, you won't be able to survive against the Dragon Lord. So will Talon be the first one to complete this race? He's going for the shot now. Yes, so in this version, which has been out for about a year now, the Death Necklace gives you 10 attack power. But when you use it, you lose a quarter of your max HP, so it's not always usable. If you don't have enough HP, it won't be good enough. Yeah, so Game Boy is saying HighSpirits has 131 attack power, which is definitely enough for 12 heal mores and extra HP. Oh, yeah. No, the ring was in Garinham. He did get it. He did use it. So that's going to make it even easier for him. So based on that, it will take him, on average, approximately 15 or maybe slightly above 15 attacks to win. Oh, has he used MP? This might not be a clear victory, then. He only has 11 heal mores left. It's still definitely doable, but he's going to want a couple double attacks against the Dragon Lord, and that's where the extra HP comes in. So when you have 97 HP, you're guaranteed to be able to get an attack between heal mores against the Dragon Lord, barring a physical attack that's too high and your agility is super low. But assuming he has enough agility where that's not the case, he'll be able to get in one attack between each heal more. If you have above 97 HP, the more HP you have, the more likely it becomes that you will be able to get 2 attacks in between heal mores. HighSpirits is going to want at least 2 of those double attacks here, I believe. But there are other ways he can win. He can get above average damage rolls. We'll just see how the battle goes. The mini-boss in this case is a golem, and he does have the fairy flute. Of course, everyone has it. Everyone's been to Cole. Golem is using heal. HighSpirits will be able to beat it on this attack. He knows that. He can use the heal spell once. It doesn't look like that's occurring to him. So he'll have 1 less herb against the Dragon Lord. And here we go. We'll see how it goes. I think this is going to be a very close fight. If I had to guess his percentage chance for victory right now, I would put it in the 40% range. But I haven't seen what his agility is either. If his agility is super high, that'll increase his odds for double attacks. We'll just have to wait and see. So he goes into the final form with 74 HP, which is very unfortunate that he didn't have full HP. He's not going to get to do a double attack here. But wow, only 24 physical from the Dragon Lord. Unfortunately, he breathed fire immediately after, so no double attack there. I think HighSpirits is in a world of trouble here. I don't think this is going to go well. Only 33 damage so far. And yeah, he's not getting double attacks. So he's probably going to be looking at Desperation Hurtmore attempts against this Dragon Lord. Hurtmore only has a 1 in 16 chance of working, so it's not something you can rely on. So if he's counting damage, he will probably get himself into range where one Hurtmore could beat the Dragon Lord, and then start using Hurtmore. That's my guess. I believe he's done 78 damage so far, with only 5 more heal mores to go. He's nowhere close to being in range, so he's gonna have to try a Hurtmore for the win. Unless I missed an attack somewhere, I believe HighSpirits has now done 102 damage. The Dragon Lord will have between 150 and 165 damage, or HP rather. And that number will be, it's randomly chosen by the seed, but it is the same for all 4 players. And it looks like HighSpirits doesn't realize the damage discrepancy. He's not trying for a Hurtmore, so he's just going to lose here, and he'll have to try again. So he might not have been counting very closely. Now JJ Schmidt has also reached level 15. Will JJ try and beat the Dragon Lord at this point, or will he think he's out of range? It doesn't seem like a terribly unreasonable decision on HighSpirits' part, but it was close. It was definitely close. And because he had to use a heal more, that really dropped his odds. I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to gain a level, but I honestly don't know if he will or not. We'll just have to wait and find out. So in the immediate future, HighSpirits and JJ Schmidt are going to be the ones to watch. HighSpirits to see if he's going to take another shot at level 15, and JJ to see if he thinks level 15 is justified, or if he's going to try and build another level. We are now 45 minutes away from the commencement of the Grand Final. If Game Boy wins, he will be the champion of this year's Dragon Warrior Randomizer tournament. And if Mr. Holmes wins, there will be a tiebreaker, as that will only be Game Boy's first loss in this double elimination tournament. Either way, both races will be on this channel, plenty more coming up in the future. It looks like HighSpirits is committed to the idea of winning at this level. And the math really does seem good. He's going to do an average of about 12 damage per attack on the Dragon Lord, which means he should only need 13 or 14 attacks to win, and with 12 heal mores, that's totally reasonable. And with the extra HP that he has above 97, he is likely to get at least one double attack. So in a race setting like this, when you clearly have above a 50% chance to win, you really do have to go for it. If there's no extenuating circumstance such as some sort of enemy or group of enemies in Sharlock that make it really difficult to get to the Dragon Lord, if things like that don't exist, you just have to go for it. You can't spend the extra time going for an extra level if you want to win the race. And this becomes especially more true the more people are in the race. It becomes much more likely with a larger race that someone is going to have had, you know, an above average development and is going to make the same decision to go with an above 50% chance of victory. So HighSpirits' choice is very clear, and JJ Schmidt, it looks like, is making the same choice. He still has his 12 heal mores as well. And if you look now, they're actually really, really close together. HighSpirits' lead was obviously burned up by his first failed attempt against the Dragon Lord, but he still has a slight lead entering this battle with the mini-boss, approximately what looks like it'll be about 30 seconds before JJ Schmidt, maybe even a little less if JJ doesn't encounter many enemies along the way. It's going to be very close. So HighSpirits defeats the Golem just before JJ encounters the Golem. So it's that one battle separating them. It's very likely that HighSpirits will win first, but it's not guaranteed. If that Golem stays asleep, and if HighSpirits' Dragon Lord in the first form keeps using Hurt more, they could even out. You never know. We'll see what happens. JJ does get through the Golem very quickly. And he's going into this battle. He delayed there a bit before he started the conversation, but oh wow, yeah, I didn't even notice. Zarnax is right there as well. I totally didn't notice. I was focused on those two players. Seawolf is also fighting the Dragon Lord, but he's at level 14. I don't know what his chances of victory are like, but I'm assuming that if everyone else went to level 15, there was a good reason. So HighSpirits has a very clear lead. It looks like the real race is between Zarnax and JJ Schmidt for second place now. Actually, Unos has just finished in first place. He was the one player that was not on screen here. This is a 5-player race. So it looks like HighSpirits will finish in second, and Zarnax and JJ in a very, very close battle for third and fourth. Meanwhile, the Seawolf also fighting the Dragon Lord. You never know, if he got extremely good luck with all high damage rolls, he could win here. This is tremendously unlikely, seeing all 5 players in a single race fighting the Dragon Lord at the exact same time. And of course, HighSpirits would have won if he had emerged victorious the first try. But he didn't, so Unos wins this race. It looks like HighSpirits will be able to finish in second. Zarnax and JJ still in a breakneck race for third. Three more heal mores left for HighSpirits. Every attack I've seen him do has been pretty high. So I think he's going to get this one. Yeah, how do you guys top this for the grand final? Only time will tell. There is HighSpirits' victory. He will finish in second place. First place out of the 4 people that we are watching on this screen. And between Zarnax and JJ, I think I saw Zarnax defeat the first form maybe 2 seconds before JJ. Are they still that close together? Who knows? All we can do is wait for the moments when the Dragon Lord is defeated. And there goes Zarnax's Dragon Lord. So yeah, it looks like Zarnax will just barely finish in third. And there goes JJ's Dragon Lord. To give you a little context of how close this was, HighSpirits was less than 2 minutes behind Unos. Zarnax was less than 1 minute behind HighSpirits. And of course, JJ is less than 1 minute behind Zarnax. And Seawolf confirming in race chat, he did make the decision to, he felt that he was behind, so he made a dangerous dive. He knew he was behind in odds. But he gave it a try at level 14. For that reason. So a fabulous race, very, very close across the board. HighSpirits did indeed do 157 damage to the Dragon Lord, despite losing his heal more, so he had a great chance, even without it. The Dragon Lord could very easily have had 150 to 157 HP. Unfortunately for HighSpirits, he had more. So HighSpirits finishes in second as a result. JJ was only 30 seconds behind Zarnax. And now I'm assuming the Seawolf will grind up to level 15. And then finish off the Dragon Lord himself. What a race indeed. That was quite thrilling down to the very end. We knew it would be a quick one, and we knew there was the potential for it to be very close when everyone started with Hurtmore, and there were Hurtmoreable enemies in all directions. We are now less than 40 minutes away from the grand finals of this year's Dragon Warrior Randomizer tournament. The music I've been playing is a mix from various Dragon Quest games. This one is just the Tentagel Castle theme. That's a good idea, actually. We could pop onto Discord and start chatting about the race. So I've got a live channel here, and hopefully someone will join. I'm not sure if HighSpirits is still around or not. Let's see.
Hi.
Good afternoon, HighSpirits.
Hello.
You played an extremely good race. I think you had about a 1500 experience
It's me,
lead.
Mario!
It's
It's
Mr.
me,
Holmes.
Mr. Mario. Oh, he left.
I guess he just popped in to say that.
Oh, I can't hear you at all, Ness.
How about
You're not
now?
coming
Is
through
this,
on Discord.
is this better? No? Can't hear me at all. Well, that's just...
Yeah, I can hear you on stream when I turn on the stream, but I can't hear you on Discord.
How about now?
There we go, I can hear you.
Excellent.
Excellent.
So yeah, I was saying, you were about 1,500 experience ahead. Obviously, you had a clean shot, and it was just unfortunate that you had to burn that heal more, and obviously you still had a good chance against the Dragon Lord, and it just came down to luck.
Jerk Bird.
The Jerk Bird.
RPG Jerk Bird. Literally run from everything in the dungeon except for him. My arch nemesis. And yeah, that was... Everything went pretty smooth, and it was a fairly easy seed, and it was more just trying to find a spot to grind because I got there too early.
Yeah, I was a little concerned when I saw you grinding in Charlock, but it worked. The entire time you were there, your experience lead gradually increased. So I had to concede that it must have been a good choice. I don't remember what was in Hawksness or anything like that, but it looks like Charlock was a great place to grind.
Hi.
Zarnax!
Yeah, Hawksness was Stone Man.
Yeah, usually in a seed where you have heal more and hurt more, whatever's in Hawksness tends to be good to fight against. But
yeah, I generally stay away if it's like Stone Man, though. I didn't see a red dragon that entire in that entire match. Did anyone find a red dragon?
I don't think I saw one on anyone's screen.
Yeah, it was I didn't see Dragon Lord Breath until the end of the game and until the final boss, and I didn't see a red dragon. That seems way too easy. Hi Zarnax, hi Seawolf.
Yo.
Zarnax, I really liked your sprite choice. It was very nice, especially when you rescued the princess. It was also very amusing to see that whenever you were walking down, half of your frame displays had half of the sprite displayed.
Yeah, I need to fix that. It was good that I used that, finding a bug, because that's not supposed to be there.
So which sprite did you use?
For those of you who didn't see, Zarnax's sprite was invisible.
Oh.
Which I noticed at the beginning when Zarnax went into the mountain cave. He was one square off from the first treasure chest, and he tried to take it, and I realized that that could potentially slow him down.
Didn't slow down too much.
Not too much, and I mean, it was a showcase race. It was worth any potential point loss.
It was definitely worth the entertainment value.
Yes, that's what I like to go for.
Yeah, so we all saw the spark over bridge?
Yeah. Did anybody not search the tile on the other side?
Come on, speak up if you didn't search. If you chose not to search, let's hear
I know, I searched it.
it.
So the results are still valid. Okay.
Now there was kind of like a Spark Over Bridge 1.5, because just above that was another one that led to just a couple squares, and I was like, should I search that one too?
Actually, missed that one. I saw the one lone square and the one bridge. That's all I saw.
But yeah, it looks like we have a finals match coming up here in 30 minutes, huh?
Nice.
The tension rises.
Yeah, it wasn't fun, though. That wasn't right about diving.
That was a lot of fun just watching all the finishes come in. Just by seeing everybody done, I could tell the restream had to have been fantastic.
Definitely. No, I knew to dive then. It's like, well, I'm only 14. I have just enough attack power to make it work. I'm low on MP, but I know I'm playing against, some HighSpirits and Zarnax, so if I don't dive down, I'll lose. And sure, if deal one, finishes first, I'm like, okay, then boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, that's what I assumed when I saw you were at level 14 going down. All 5 of you were fighting the Dragon Lord at the same time after HighSpirits' first loss, so that was really intense and cool to watch.
There you go.
Let's see, did Seawolf actually get 15? Yeah, it looks like he got level 15, so
yeah,
he's going to go for his dip.
Yeah, the bonus 2 heal mores? Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, 15 was great.
Well, the first swing was nice. 15 was the first swing. Like, yeah, DL2, 15 damage, easy peasy. Then 7, 8, 7, 7.
I didn't actually do the calculations. I did my gold grind to get a silver shield at the that was the last thing I did.
Really?
I got the chest at the Dragon Lord's basement, and then
Okay.
died, and then I did the gold grind and picked up the silver shield. I'm wondering how much difference that, like, if I would have still had good chances with the, I think I had the small shield at the time. I'm wondering if that cost me, or if I would have.
I beat the Dragon Lord with a small shield because I didn't find a large in any shop.
Yeah, no, I ground. First chance I got, I found the key. I think it was in where's the key hiding at?
Stones of Sunlight Cave.
Yeah, okay. So I got the key there. And as soon as I died again, I just went back to the vault keys. Once I realized I was gold in the treasure, or I didn't check the treasury. I went to the mountain cave immediately and just ground out the gold.
I was thinking about that at the beginning, but I'm like, I only found the shield, and I couldn't find any more towns. I'll just wait to see what would happen. And the silver shield probably would have saved me that first attempt, but I got really bad damage rolls, and I did do a lot of damage. I did 157 damage to him, but he had more than that apparently. So.
Yeah, he had a lot.
Yeah, it counts. All right. Well, I'll find out in a minute. Ah, crap! This gold beat me up.
Spoilers.
That's right.
Spoilers.
I'll figure it out. I will learn the hard way.
28 minutes approximately will be the first or possibly one of two matches of the finals between Game Boy F9 and Mr. Holmes.
The tension rises.
Oh, still
Dun 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 dun.
Crap! I gotta kill more. Terrible. Well, anyway, so yes, basically the seed was very generic, weird map. No red dragons. Anyone see a red dragon?
Yeah, maybe there wasn't no red dragons on this. Like, I did actually find another grind spot.
McGrew said in chat that he confirmed there were no red dragons.
There you go.
Oh, dang. Was there anyone with Dragon Lord breath? Because I didn't see that either.
No, I did not.
Dragon Lord 2 had Dragon Lord breath.
No, please.
So yeah,
Thank you.
I never saw a red dragon anywhere, but what McGrew confirms is also that there were never any red dragons in, like, the mountains or the water or anywhere else that you couldn't walk. There were no red dragons anywhere.
Dang.
They're extinct.
Yeah, I did find one other grind spot, but it was in a really bad location. It was way in the southwest corner of the map, where it was just nothing but armored knights and axe knights. But it was like it was nowhere near a town, so I was like, oh, I'll grind it, Sharlock.
So by Garen's grave, then, right?
South of Garen's grave, way down in the corner. Or there's this one really long stretch of land, of forest, that goes off to the southwest, and then it ends in nothing.
Okay.
And it was just before that stretch of forest. It was like, I got in like 4 armored knight encounters just trying to get to that island, and I'm like, this has to be a good spot. Too bad it's not near anything.
Ooh, Gamble.
Oh, and McGrew's Droll and Wraith had Dragon Lord breath.
I never saw a Wraith.
I saw one Droll.
Well, I think I saw a Wraith
I saw Wraith Knight. I didn't see a Wraith.
and Metal Scorpion. I did see those.
Really? Oh, I saw him heal. I always hurt more of them, so they never had a chance to hurt me.
Right.
Yeah, I
Never
never fought any poltergeists because, like, oh, level 1 hurt more. First thing I did, go away from the castle and start fighting, wolves and stuff. I was like, I wasn't even going to deal with a poltergeist.
Yeah, the Star Wyvern was fun. I tried that early. My first fight, actually outside the zone, was Star Wyvern. I was like, okay, hurt more, I could deal with that. 1 or 2, and then kill more. Like, oh, that's not going to work at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
I killed one early with sleep.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, having hurt more and is I didn't even I had repel on the entire game, so I never saw any of these lower level enemies.
You know, it could surprise you. That's good.
Early in the game, I avoided repel because even a 20 experience fight can get you to your next level, which can be important. So I did one little strip of desert where I did find some metal slimes.
Oh, there were metal slimes. Okay, I didn't see them anywhere.
I saw 2. This might be a record. I had a 100% success attack rate on metal slimes in this suit.
Dang.
I only ran into 2 and only got to attack them each once before they ran away. But they were both successful hits.
Oh, okay. I guess that counts.
Oh man, I don't know. Also, probably I need to clip this. Right before I suicided in the basement of Sharlock, I think in a span of 10 attacks, I had 5 excellent moves.
I only had one excellent move. Actually, no, I had two. I killed an armor knight, and I excellent move the wizard who dodged. So I only had two, and they were 50-50.
I barely attacked, so I didn't have any excellent moves.
Good point.
Even grinding at the end when I was attacking, I never got an excellent.
Yeah, so 15's a level, because that was last hit, but still doable.
And GG Seawolf.
The Sea Wolf has emerged victorious, thus concluding this wonderful race.
Woo!
So the rates theoretically had Dragon Lord Breath and Sleep, but they weren't in the game.
They exist. No, actually, no, Sleep was there. Who put me to sleep? Shoot. Plain Knights. Basically, Knight has sleep. Yeah, because I was on the Garen's grave, found chest, and I was fighting Knight. Like, oh, I'll punch him, save MP. And then he started putting me to sleep and punched me. So I had to blow him up.
Yeah, this is a pretty generous seed. It wasn't too difficult. It was, no, not really much for hardships.
Yeah. They wanted to find the VOD of me and Jackamus from the VOD played before, but it's on Sparkover's highlights, so we didn't have a copy. But yeah, you want to see problems, that's the way to go. But no mid-game problems, no towns guarded by fire-breathing sleep monsters. Very generous.
So there we have it, a 5-player race over in less than 90 minutes as expected as a result of early Hurtmore. A nice smooth race for everyone, very entertaining for me to watch. I hope you guys enjoyed it. The grand finals are approximately 23 minutes away. We will probably not be starting early, but that really depends on the competitors. If they're ready to go early, we can start early.
Well, that means we gotta whip them into shape and get them going.
Pretty much.
That'll be it.
But in the meantime, I'm still just setting up for the grand final race here. I'll let you guys know, but yeah, presumably it'll be starting in about 22 minutes.
Cool, I'm gonna get up and stretch for a second before I sit back down for this.
Yeah, well, thanks everyone for joining in, for watching. Thanks, Card, for streaming.
Thank you guys for providing an entertaining race. Thanks to Zarnax and HighSpirits for their sprites that I hadn't seen used before. That was great.
Yes, again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for competing. We had a huge crowd of competitors this year. It all boils down to this. We all had a lot of fun doing commentary, doing oddball things, highlights, and wacky stuff. So, again, another solid tournament, and I look forward to the finale.
Yeah, luck to the finalists. May the agility be low.
Oof. Please.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
So until we get underway, I'll continue the background music and I'll keep you guys